Hey guys! Today we're going to finish our book, What is Pollination? And then after we finish the book, we're going to determine the gist of the text, and we're going to practice using context clues to determine the meaning of a new word. So we'll talk about what all that is after we finish our book. Let's get right back into what is pollination. So we left off here. This was our very next page. Page 18, butterflies and moths. Butterflies and moths have long proboscises. I had to look that word up because I didn't even know how to say it. Or mouth parts. See what the author just did? They used a big word, and then right after the big word, they told us a word that we can understand. Butterflies and moths have long proboscises or mouth parts, which can reach the nectar and pollen inside flowers. Butterflies like bright pink, blue, and purple flowers. Some moths are good pollinators of flowers that bloom at night. They look for pale flowers with strong scents. There's the proboscis. I always said proboscis. Is that right? I know it's proboscises, so maybe it is proboscis. The hummingbird moth can pollinate flowers that are too thin and deep for other pollinators. Its long proboscis can reach the pollen deep inside them. This butterfly has landed on a pink flower. It is using its long proboscis to sip the nectar. Its legs are covered with pollen. Aha, can see how it has those long skinny legs? That's where all the pollen is, okay, because it's stuck its legs right down into the flower there. Wasps and flies. Wasps are mainly carnivores. Carnivores eat other animals. Wasps hunt small insects. Many insects live on plants. Wasps visit flowers to look for smaller insects that they can find there. They also drink flower nectar to give them the energy to hunt insects. While they hunt insects, wasps pollinate plants by carrying pollen on their bodies from flower to flower. Wasps also help nature by eating many insects that damage plants. Hoverfly. That's why I was thinking he looked like a fly. He has those wings of like a fly. Pretending to sting. Flies are very important pollinators because there are so many of them. The most important fly pollinators are hoverflies and bee flies, but many other flies also visit flowers to feed on nectar. Hoverflies have yellow and black stripes, but they are not related to bees or wasps. The flies, which cannot sting, pretend to be stinging insects to keep other animals from eating them. Ah, that's pretty clever. Beetle pollinators. Beetles visit flowers for many reasons. Some eat the pollen and nectar in flowers, and some eat the whole flower. Other beetles feed on the smaller insects that visit flowers. Smooth or hairy. Beetles that are smooth are not the best pollinators because pollen slides off their bodies. The best beetle pollinators are those with hairy bodies because the pollen sticks to their hairs as they travel from flower to flower. Now look, we have two pictures here, two photographs, and two captions, because this caption, it says above. So that means this caption, the top caption, goes to this picture, and this caption says below. So this caption goes with this picture. Let's read these captions. Ladybugs are beetles that feed on small pests such as aphids. Aphids damage plants. Aphids damage plants. And then we stop and we can see, oh, I see. So the ladybug is eating all these aphids here that are damaging the plant. Below, which means this picture down here, ladybugs also drink some nectar as a snack to give them energy. Okay. So maybe they're drinking the nectar and then they're eating the aphids. Bird pollinators. There are more than 2,000 kinds of birds around the world that feed on nectar or on insects found in flowers. Birds are important pollinators. In North America, hummingbirds pollinate many kinds of wildflowers. especially those with trumpet shapes. Honey eaters are pollinators in Australia and on many islands in the Pacific Ocean. Honey creepers pollinate wildflowers in Mexico and South America. Let's look at this picture right here, photograph, and look at the caption. It tells us what's happening in here. It says, when a hummingbird puts its long beak into a flower to drink the nectar, sticky pollen grains cling to its beak. Some of the pollen grains are then left at the next flower it visits. Hummingbirds have very good eyes and are attracted to red flowers. So the last time we saw that insect, his long legs were down in the pollen. This hummingbird's going to have the pollen on its beak. And when we saw the bees had the pollen all over their bodies. And the ladybugs, the furry ladybugs, had the pollen was stuck to their fur. This caption says, many Australian flowers, such as this red-hot poker, it does look like a red-hot poker, like you poke in a fire, are pollinated by honey eaters. This flower is a kind of lily. Both the red-legged honey creeper above, so we're talking about this one, and the green honey keeper below, this one, have curved bills that can reach inside flowers to eat nectar and catch insects. The green honey creeper likes to eat fruit. These birds live in Mexico, South America, and the Caribbean. Lizards, bats, and possums. I did not know these guys were pollinators. Animals that hunt insects often pollinate plants. Small lizards visit flowers to find insects to eat. When they visit a flower, pollen sticks to their bodies. Other animal pollinators include fruit bats and honey possums. The honey possum is one of the few mammals that eats mainly nectar and pollen. Its long snout and tongue reach the nectar and pollen inside flowers. Oh, look at that. Besides eating fruit, fruit bats visit flowers in the dark to eat nectar and pollen. This green anole is looking for insects on these pink flowers. Pollinators in danger. Pollinators are very important to us. Without them, we would not have fruits, vegetables, nuts, honey, or chocolate. These important animals are disappearing from Earth. When people build in wilderness areas, animals lose their homes and their food. Pesticides and diseases are also killing many pollinating insects. As we lose our pollinating insects, we also lose our food supply. One of the most important pollinators, honeybees, are disappearing, and no one really knows why. Fewer bees. Each year there are fewer honeybees. The use of pesticides has killed many bees. Bees are also being killed off by two types of mites that have moved into honeybee hives. The bee on the right has mites on its body. So look at these right here. Ooh, there's a mite. And there's a mite on his body. I can barely see if this is the Varroa mite. Attaches itself to a bee and feeds on fluids from the bee's body. The bee on the right has been treated for mites with powdered sugar. The sugar causes the mites to fall off the bees. Helping pollinators. The best way to help pollinators is by telling everyone about why they are so important to us. Most people may think that bees, wasps, flies, beetles, and moths are pests. You and your friends can design posters to hang in your school and community to let people know that our food supply depends on these helpful animals. What other ways can you help? You can ask your parents to grow native flowers around your home. Pollinators need flowers. Thank you, pollinators. Each time you bite into an apple, pear, or vegetable, say a silent thank you to the pollinators that made it possible. Count the number of times you say thanks in a day, and you will see just how important pollinators are to you and to everyone who eats. Plant a vegetable garden. If you do not have a yard, you can plant vegetables in pots on a balcony. Bees and butterflies will love them, and you will love eating the delicious and healthy fresh foods. And that's the end of the book. I'm going to click Finish Book. Yay! All right, guys. So now let me get back over here to our slides. We need to talk about the gist of that text. What do we remember about this text? It had lots of information about pollination in it because that was in the title. And gosh, there were a lot of text features too, right? Okay, so we are going to be thinking about how pollinators help us get all those fresh fruits and vegetables for food. So we've talked about the process of pollination and the different kinds of pollinators and how they help to pollinate plants. So we've also learned a lot of new information today. So today we are going to use our text features to do a vocabulary hunt after we finish the text features hunt from yesterday. So what you're going to have is you're going to finish this. Remember the text features hunt that you did? You have 3 things to do on this page. This is in your pollinators packet. It tells you to find the heading, Pretending to Sting. So get that book out on Epic and flip through till you see that heading, Pretending to Sting. And it asks you what pollinator is described in that section. What page would you look on to find the bolded word proboscises or proboscises? It's a hard one to say. And what does proboscises mean? So you need a page number and a definition. And when you finish finding those 3 things in the book on Epic, you're going to finish up, you're going to do this last page. Now, the page tells you, the one that you see, tells you to watch the read aloud video. You can either rewatch me reading the book to you, or you could just get on Epic and look, you're only going to pages 4, 5, and 10. So on Epic, you would go to page 4 on the book. It says, find the word pollen, search for the definition in the text, and then write it in the box. Do you remember when I said, oh, look what the author did here? They gave us this big hard word, and I think that word was proboscises, and then it said, or mouth eaters. Like right there in that sentence, the author told us what that word meant. Well, that's what your author's going to do for you today for these words. So just read the sentence right before the bold word and the sentence after. That definition will be in there. So on page 4, find the word pollen, search for the definition in the text, write it in here. On page 5, find the word pollinators, same thing. Page 10, find the word nectar and write it in here. And when you finish both of these sheets, you are done today. I will see you next time. Bye.